to be able to fine-tune your antialiasing settings. One of the first thing I would suggest is to use the antialiasing diagnostic mode. I'll be explaining a little bit later what is diagnostic mode and how to use it. One thing also I would suggest is render out diagnostic results to disk and use diffpic-i to make a comparison between two antialiasing settings. If you do see that these two images don't differ that much in terms of intensity, chances are that the lower antialiasing setting is good enough because there's no visual differences between the two images. So even before actually increasing the antialiasing settings, I would strongly suggest to lower the threshold, because lowering the threshold means that when it subdivides the pixel, it's going to actually be a little bit more sensitive about the differences between numbers and the pixel being rendered. So if there's a greater difference between the threshold value, then obviously it's going to break up the pixels. So for example, if I set 0 to 3, then the pixel can basically have one sample up to 64. So you see there's a really broad range of number of samples this pixel could have. If, let's say, for example, you go to 0.2, now you're talking about 0 and 16. So lowering the threshold, it basically allows the renderer to go to the maximum value, which is 2 in this case, which is 16. So you just say, do a little bit more work, but go up to level 2 and stop there. So threshold should be lowered even before the antialiasing should be increased. So one thing I would do is, let's say you lower the threshold and obviously it does not produce the desired result. There's one thing also you could do is set back the threshold back to 0.2, which is more or less a preview quality, and then increase the antialiasing to max by 1, and then start to lower threshold by 0.05 increments until you get the actual result. It is also important that you disable filtering to be able to see what is happening before it's being filtered. And then after that you may re-enable filtering again.